Intersex mingling makes cheats out of all of us. One more time. Intersex mingling makes cheats out of all of us. Wa alaikum assalam wa rahmatullah. Ibrahim. Who else said this? Kryptonic was going on. And I'm going to explain before you bite my head off. So, okay, once again, yes, I'm a Muslim. My beliefs are grounded in my religion. But this is not going to be a religious spiel. This is not going to be a religious talk. I will bring at the end some religious quotes and verses from the Quran, but the majority of what I'm about to speak about is logic and common sense. Okay? Now, I was having this discussion with my wife the other day. And she was like, even my wife sometimes struggles to understand human nature, not just human nature, a man's perspective. And I'm going to come to the ladies as well, because you're not immune from this, but men in particular. She said, so are you telling me basically that a man doesn't cheat on his woman just because he doesn't mingle with the opposite sex? Not because of love. He's not loyal to her because he loves her. And I thought about it, and I said, yeah, that's absolutely right. Absolutely. Because men, in particular, can be satisfied with his wife from a perspective of love, from a perspective of desire, and still have sex with another woman. It's nothing to do with love for men. Now, women cheat as well. Women are not immune. Women cheat as well for different reasons, but they cheat. They do cheat. But I'll come on to women in a second. Now, when I say this, that intersex mingling makes cheats out of all of us, the common response I get from people is, can't you control yourself? You filthy animal. What's wrong with you? Why can't you control yourself? You got no self-control. You know? Well, you can't have a conversation with the opposite sex and not restrain yourself. What the hell's wrong with you, you dirty animal? Comments along those lines. And I say to people this: why should I have to control myself when I can just remove the temptation in the first place? Why put myself in a position where I have to exercise restraint when I can just remove the temptation right off the bat? Remove it from the table. Let's not even make it a discussion. Why make it a discussion? I'll give you an example. You're trying to lose weight. Maybe you're 30 pounds overweight, 15 kilos overweight. You want to lose a bit of weight. What's the best way to lose this weight? To keep the chocolates in the cupboard and try your best not to eat them? Or to throw the chocolates in the bin so that the temptation is removed in its entirety? Even if you had the temptation one day to eat junk food, to eat chocolate, you open the cupboard, lo and behold, it's not there. Why? Because you threw it in the bin. I say the same when it comes to intersex mingling. Why should I have to exercise restraint? Why should I have to exercise control when I can just simply remove the discussion by not spending my recreational time with members of the opposite sex to begin with? And I say recreational time because some of you might be in a work setting where you have to communicate with the opposite sex, right? It is what it is. I'm not really referring to that. Although even in that environment, you must be careful on your guard, gentlemen and ladies. You have to be careful because you can become chummy with your workmates. But I'm not really alluding to that. I'm referring to going out of your way to spend recreational time with members of the opposite sex, inviting them around your house as friends. Now, I've tackled this topic before, addressing the gentleman that having female friends makes you feminine, because the more time you spend with females, the more feminine you become, and equally, having male friends makes women masculine. Hence the term tomboys, right? The more time a girl spends with men, the more masculine she becomes. So I tackled it from that angle. Now I'm tackling it from a different angle, which is, if you spend time with members of the opposite sex, you are far more likely to conjure a relationship which could one day lead to down the door of infidelity. It could lead to the door of infidelity. Think rationally about it. Think logically. Do we wake up one day and say, you know what? I'm going to cheat on my wife today Does your woman wake up one day and say, you know what? I'm going to cheat on my husband today. Nobody in their right mind thinks like this. Nobody thinks like this, period. Full stop. And yet somehow it happens. Somehow man cheats on woman, woman cheats on man. It happens. How? We have to ask ourselves, how did we get to that place? Because we kept the chocolates in the cupboard. We didn't throw the chocolates in the bin. We didn't remove the temptation in its entirety. We said to ourselves, no, I can be strong. I'm in control of myself. I can control myself. I can restrain myself. I can be in control of my desires. I can avoid the chocolates. I know I shouldn't touch it. And then what happens one day? You end up binging on the chocolates. Why? Because it was there in the back of your mind constantly. Like a bad smell that you just can't get rid of. It's there. You know that you have access to it. You know it's in your kitchen cupboard. You know that you could just open the door and there it is. You can satisfy all your desires with all the chocolates that you like. Equally, if you maintain a relationship with a member of the opposite sex, you're kindling that relationship, that fire. For men, we don't need an excuse to cheat. You can be at home, love your wife, desire your wife, and still want other women. Happened to Ben Affleck. Ben Affleck cheated with his maid. I haven't seen his maid, but my wife told me she's a pretty basic looking woman. And he had a beautiful wife. And he cheated with his maid. Arnold Schwarzenegger cheated with his maid. Like, men don't tend to look far. It's kind of like whoever's in front of us sort of thing. And she don't even have to look good. She's making herself available. We're there. This is the reality. Let's not romanticize what men and women are like. No, I will be the first person to hold my hand up and say, I do not want to have to be in a position to control myself with women. I love women. I know myself. I got no shame in saying that. I know if I put myself in an environment where I am kindling a friendly relationship with a woman or women, I know it could lead to the door of infidelity. I'm quite comfortable in my own skin. I know what I am. I love women. So what do? I close the door. No female relations, no female friendships, with the exception of family, of course, right? Because you can't marry your mom, your sister, and so on and so forth. I hope that's common sense. I'm talking about general people. Now, I'm not having next man and his wife coming over and we have dinner together and he's laughing and joking with my wife and I'm laughing and joking with his wife. Are you dumb? Are you mad? I said this before. Don't even say my wife's name. Ahi. Don't ask how my wife is. Do you know her? No, you don't know her. This is the level to which we take it as Muslims. No door for the relationship to occur. None. And now this is the part where I bring you the Islamic viewpoint. I'm a Muslim, right? My beliefs are grounded in my religion. But regardless, you don't have to be religious to be able to relate. But I'm going to bring you the verse from the Quran. And Allah says, وَلَا تَقْرَبُوا الزِّنَا. He said, don't go anywhere near adultery. Sex outside of marriage. Don't go anywhere near. He didn't say, understand the words he used. He didn't say, and don't commit zina. No. He said, وَلَا تَقْرَبُوا. Don't go anywhere near it. Nowhere near. Don't open the door that could lead down that garden path. Stay far away from it in its entirety. And now you don't have to be religious to make sense of this. People have affairs after first kindling a relationship. Just yesterday, my wife watches this program called Poldark. Some of you guys might have heard of it. It's a period set program. Some point in some few hundred years ago. Anyway, next man is cheating with next man's wife. And next man's wife is also cheating with next man. It's all a confused mess. How did it all start? Relationships. They kindled a relationship with one another. This guy would come with his wife, they'd have dinner with this guy, and they'd go for outings and to the park together and all, ha 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 ha, yeah, how you doing, baby? Shut the hell up, what are you talking about? Listen, we have to stop romanticizing our ability to control ourselves. We're not that strong, guys. We are not that strong. Know thyself. Now, men can cheat for no reason at all, but women also cheat. When do women cheat? Well, as I've mentioned before, if this is your first time here, I'll repeat it again. A woman, if she loves her husband and she desires her husband, she goes blind for the most part. She can't see other men, even if they're in front of her. She can't see them. But if she's lost her desire for him, or she's lost her love for him, or worse still, both, then it's possible that she could cheat on him if given the opportunity. Now, if she is mingling and you are facilitating her mingling with members of the opposite sex, you run the risk of her seeing in another man what she doesn't find in you. Now, remember I said that women, they generally speaking won't cheat unless they don't love you or they don't desire you or both. So with this in mind, let's say she's lost her desire for you for whatever reason, and yet she's found the very characteristic that you lack, she has found it in another man. Guess what's going to happen? She's going to start growing an affinity towards this new man, which could lead to arousal, desire, and the worst case scenario, infidelity. We must stop romanticizing our ability to control ourselves. We must stop this nonsense. You're not that strong. I will be the first to admit it. If I'm going to go on a diet today, I know the best way for me to stick to that diet is to empty out the cupboards and throw the chocolates in the bin. Why keep them there, knowing in the back of my mind constantly I have access to them? I can dip in at them at any moment. Why do that to myself? No. Empty the damn cupboards, throw it in the bin.